Welcome to Talking Jets. And by Talking Jets, I mean it's Ryan talking Jets on Jets Talk 24/7. Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. This stream powered by BetUS. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. If you guys feeling a little bit optimistic after yesterday's loss and you want to put a little money, a little cheddar down on AFC East odds, Jets are currently plus 900 to win the AFC East. So just a little bit behind the Bills at this point. Or maybe you want to bet on another team. Get a 150% bonus match on your first deposit up to $2,000 when you use code YouTube150. Boys and girls, we are going to talk about our damn football team. I'm going to give myself a little monologue so you can hear and feel how I feel a day after the loss to the Steelers. I'm going to go through offense, defense, special teams, the state of the Jets, what I think they should do. Is this season over? Is it not? There is a poll question in the chat. The season is ... and the answers are over, or you're saying there's a chance. Vote on that. I'm curious to see where the fan base is at right now. So, look, Jets lose in big-time embarrassing fashion yesterday in a game where it felt like the Jets were on top of the world with about 3 minutes to go in the half. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have the ball. We're driving down the field. We had just gotten a blocked field goal where we got lucky and got a penalty that probably shouldn't have been a penalty, and then got the 2 points after that. So we're sitting at 15 points, 15-6, with a chance to put more on the board, and then get the ball back after half. But instead, Aaron Rodgers throws a back-breaking interception that eventually winds up going for a touchdown. And then after half, I believe it was a 3-and-out the Jets had first, and then it was the interception that bounced off Garrett's chest. And that eventually wound up going for a touchdown. This team just seems flat. We heard Aaron Rodgers say that after the game, that there doesn't seem to be a fire or a spark. And it does feel like that. It doesn't feel like they're coming out with enough urgency. But it was squarely on his shoulders as to why the wind got sucked out of our sails when it did last night. He's not the only reason. There's plenty of issues with the defense. There's injury issues. There's discipline issues. There's a lot of problems with this team right now. But man, it really sucks. Last year, as much as it really hurt not having Aaron Rodgers the entire year, losing him on the first series of play, I could at least say, hey, you know what? I expected this season to go like this after Rodgers goes down. We got Rodgers in the building. We got Davante Adams. We got a really good friggin' football team. Like, on paper, there's a lot of good, talented football players here. And this is a significantly more disappointing season than last year. Significantly. I had sky-high confidence going into this year, thinking Rodgers just has to play average football. That's all I needed from him. That's all I needed. Incredibly frustrating. Apparently, Rodgers' stats right now, he's on pace for over 4,000 yards, on pace for, I think it's 26 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. If you had told me that before the season, that that's what we're going to get out of Rodgers, I'd be like, all right, you know what, that's a down year for Rodgers. Jets are going to be a really good fucking football team. That's what I would have told you. And that is so clearly so far from where we are right now. From an offensive standpoint, I think Davante Adams is only going to continue to get better. But is it too far? Is it too late at this point? Jets are realistically going to have to win 8 of the next 10. I was talking about this with Tigo just a few moments ago. This game, this team, needs to be one win at a time. It does not make sense to look towards the Texans. It does not make sense to look towards your next matchup with Buffalo or the 2 games against Miami. No. Look squarely at New England and say, this is a playoff game. We win or we don't, and this season is feels officially over. I mean, it feels officially over right now, if I'm being perfectly honest. Really, really frustrating. Thomas, I see your super chat. I'll get to it in just a second. Just want to air out some of these thoughts real quick. Garrett Wilson. Heard some rumors prior to the game, maybe a day in advance or so, that teams are poking around Garrett Wilson. Is there an opportunity to maybe trade for him? look, I don't want the Jets to be sellers at the deadline. I think as long as you have Aaron Rodgers, you could have some type of magical run. Who knows? Maybe there's some teams that fall off at different points in the season, and all of a sudden 9 wins get you into the playoffs. 10 is the goal. It's hard looking at our final 10 games to say, oh, I can see the Jets winning 8 of these after what we went through the first 7 games, or what are we at? Yeah, 7 games this season. Doesn't feel like that's in the wheelhouse. But I do think that as long as you have Rodgers, you got Adams, you're getting Reddick back, you can at least try. And worst case scenario, I'd rather this team go 7 wins or 8 wins than just watching a bottomed out team. Give me something to fight for. Give me something to look forward to for next year. Maybe you're playing for your next head coach, someone that's watching this team. Like, I don't know if Ulbricht's going to be here next year. I don't know if Douglas is going to be here next year. Heck, we don't know if Rodgers is going to be here next year. Based on his response to last night's press conference, it did feel like Rodgers was intending on, this not being it. And that's pure speculation on my part. There's, other than him saying there's no, he sees 2 successful seasons with the Jets and all the lip service that we've gotten and whatnot. I think him and Devontae are planning to be here for at least 2025, which I'll be honest is probably what has to happen either way. There's not going to be any sort of better situation for the New York Jets other than that. Do I think Woody Johnson has had a part in this demise? Sure, absolutely. Do I want to see Joe Douglas back? I'm kind of on the fence. I think Douglas is a good GM. I don't know if Douglas wants to see Douglas back. Like, with the way Woody's overstepped the last few weeks, especially firing Saleh without talking to Douglas, that to me feels very not great. Woody did give him a little pat on the back saying this is the best roster that this team has had since I've been here. Now, maybe Woody takes responsibility for that. Maybe Woody was the one pulling the strings behind the Rodgers trade initially. I think he's definitely what forced the trade to get done prior to the draft. I don't think Douglas or Saleh was planning to do that. You guys know I have been saying that for a year and a half. The way those press conferences looked, it seemed like Douglas and Saleh were ready to sit and wait till Rodgers arrived in training camp. And we wouldn't have had to give up what we needed to give up to ultimately get him. I think Woody's behind the Devontae Adams trade and just forcing it to get done. I wish he had done that earlier because I think it's too far too late. The Hassan Reddick thing with him coming back, they said Woody was heavily involved. I don't know if I necessarily buy that. I think it's more so that his agents talked some sense into him by the Jets allowing him to shop himself and see that he can't get this contract anywhere else. And I think that's really it. Very frustrating. Thomas drops in with a super chat. Thomas says, I can't believe this is a professional football team. They should be working at the snack bar. Look, still got to catch the, I was going to say catch the popcorn, catch the chicken nuggets. You're not catching anything at a snack bar, but that's, you know what I'm trying to get at. You still got to perform at the snack bar. You have expectations. It feels like we just do not meet ours. Mike D, I can't see this coaching staff coming back. No, I don't see the coaching staff coming back, but I can see Douglas coming back. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know who else you would go for other than that. Like, if I'm Joe Douglas, do you even want to be back here? Do you think you could find a better coaching staff or a better owner to go work for now that your contract's just up? You don't have to sign with us. There's no franchise tag for a GM. Like, I don't have a lot of confidence in whoever Woody's going to select to be the next GM in here. After all the stuff I've seen from the last few years, Joe Douglas does feel like one of the better ones. Boogie Down Bronx says, like Rex Ryan says, play like an effing Jet. Let's go. Hey, I just want to see us hang our heads high. Not hang our heads. Lift our heads high. And start beating the sense out of people. Give us a shot of hope. I just want some hope to get me through the rest of the season. I'll take all the hopium right here. Straight in the veins. All the hopium I can get. Derg says, lose to the Pats and we're done. That's like a bottom 5 team category. Yeah, I mean, after what we did to them last time, we should not lose. But new quarterback could be totally different. Lawrence says it's not over, but if Rodgers can't get his confidence back, it is over. Yeah, he's underperformed in some serious crunch time situations. The interception yesterday was inexcusable. Eddie, we are not far though. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the mistakes that's killing us. 8-2 coming up. I want to see a win every week. Like, there's no part of me this year where I'm going to be rooting for a tank. Short of Rodgers saying, like, I'm just done. Like, this will be my final year. Like, if he says that, then yeah, maybe I'm feeling a little bit more in the tank category. But I want to see this team win as much as possible. I'm done with the losing. I'm done with the draft picks. So I'm with you. 8-2, 10-0, starts tomorrow. Starts today, I guess. Starts on Sunday. I wish we could get a coach like Gruden. I don't know if Gruden's ever going to coach. He might still be getting paid by the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's still going. The varsity football team of the high school I teach could beat the Jets presently. Nah, I don't think so. I think we're still a good team. We're a bad team. We're good players, bad team. Just have to sweep the division. Well, I don't have any faith we're going to beat Buffalo with them getting Von Miller back and James Cook back. And the Dolphins just got a lot harder. Jingle Dubs, Aaron called out the media during the press conference too. Yeah, he did. I mean, I definitely felt like Rodgers was not really taking responsibility. The part where he's like, oh, it's a Sunday night football game. Everyone should have some energy and up to play. Like, I've always had this energy and it's a heightened sense of awareness or whatever. Or, whatever he was trying to get the point across, it very much felt like he was trying to shift blame to other players when it was his mistake largely that cost us that game. Like, you could probably overcome the Garrett Wilson fumble or interception, doink, whatever. But before half, when you have an opportunity to get 3 points or go into half 15-6, just sucks. I'm not, look, I'm a Rodgers fan, but it does feel like we're kind of stuck right now for a little bit. Not quite as bad as the Deshaun Watson contract and everything they got going on in Cleveland, but it certainly doesn't feel great. Juba says, Woody is a crook. Yeah, I mean, it feels like he stole everyone's cash. And not to mention last week, or it might have been this week, they're like, oh, season tickets for next year, they're on sale. Hey, come on, get them right now while they're hot. We just got Devontae Adams. Stupid. Anyone who buys season tickets right now for next year, unless you are like a legacy season ticket holder and you do your thing every year, that's one thing. But if you're a new Jet fan, you're like, fucking, I'm going to get season tickets next year. This is the team that's really sold me on it. Shame on you. You deserve everything you get. Chris says, wish Rodgers would hype up the team a little more like Brady. Laser focus is something he always told his team. Yeah, look, Rodgers doesn't seem to have that killer instinct right now, the way we got to see it, in Green Bay. Jimmy, Ryan, we love you. Jimmy, I love you too. Good man. Lawrence says Devontae will get better and they can get something going, but they need to just let the D-line be Will McDonald, Quinnen Williams, and Reddick with Kinlaw subbing in and out. Yeah, just ball out. Oh, and JT3. Look, we got to get some pressure. Far too much time in the pocket for most of these guys. Quarterbacks, that is. Sharon comes in, says, some people believe Joe Willie made a deal with the devil, but the devil was the Colts head coach at the time. Yeah. There's a popular myth among Jet fans that Namath has to croak before we can have anything nice. And love me some Joe. I don't wish anything bad to him, but I hope there's a better way to start having success than having the best player in our, or most historic player in our franchise needing to croak. Sure, I'm asking, is Brett Favre still available? Wild Wave says, give me Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. I like Aaron Glenn. I don't really want a defensive-minded head coach, though. Ben Johnson is the gift, or is the gem that you would want to try and get, but I think he'll have other options than the Jets, unfortunately. Boogie Down Bronx, thank you so much for the super chat, says, I believe the problem with the Jets is we have a lot of talented players, but we just don't play as a team, and that's on coaching. Yeah, it definitely feels like coaching is the big hurdle that we deal with consistently. Big issue. Big issue. Oh, Jimmy, little Sussex County represent. There you go, buddy. Like it, right? Who are the top candidates for head coach next year? Ben Johnson's going to be the top dog, I think. Then I think you might poke around like a Clint Kubiak, a Slowick, Vrabel. Belichick's name is going to be brought up. Rodgers has talked about playing with him. It's just, we're forever tied to him, even though I don't see it happening. I don't know. Ted says, any chance Jordan Travis can see the field this season? We need to see the future quarterback for the Jets. No, I don't think he's going to see the field this season. I think he should get the full redshirt year. I think I'd rather have Tyrod Taylor go out in the event Rodgers gets hurt or we need to sub a quarterback in. And then Jordan Travis will be healthy next year. He'll be the third-string quarterback behind Tyrod, most likely, assuming Rodgers comes back. If not, then maybe it's Tyrod versus Travis next year, and that's how we roll into the season. We'll see. Sodak says, Ben Johnson cites his offensive inspiration as Adam Gase. That's terrifying. I did not know that. Twisted. Quinnen is another one that needs to be held accountable. Damn, he is fat this year. The entirety of our good players. Garrett has come up small. Brees largely has come up small. Quinnen came up small. Sauce has come up small. Rodgers come up small. Like, consistently go on down the line. It's just a lot of good players that are underperforming right now, and it's super, super frustrating to see. Ron P says, Joe Douglas, done. Ran his course. We don't know when to let go. Well, I think you probably had to roll into this season with Douglas. He got your Rodgers, allow the coaching staff and Douglas to see it out. I don't know where you go at GM. I don't know who's going to want this job, especially if Rodgers comes back and like the new GM's like, wait, Woody Johnson's overstepping all the time. Like, I would rather Joe Douglas be here than like have to play the field, if that makes sense. I still like Douglas, but I'd understand if we didn't go that route. HMNI Cadoza says, there's a curse at the old practice field in Peekskill. I swear I'll find a body at the practice field when we won the championship, and it's not Long Island. We're cursed. Harlan, Aaron Glenn used to play for the Jets. Would be good to get him back. I had Aaron Glenn as my defensive coordinator back the year we hired Saleh because I wanted Aaron Glenn, I wanted Joe Brady as OC, and I wanted Daboll as head coach. That was my coaching staff that I'd put together. Daboll wound up going back to Buffalo. Brady wound up going to Carolina. And Glenn went to Detroit. And all are having success, minus Daboll, I guess. If Daboll shook free and was available, I would be open to bringing in Daboll. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's been stuck with a bad quarterback. Mike D says, firing Saleh did virtually nothing. Yeah, no, I don't think that was... I think he was made a scapegoat. I really do. I think Hackett has been the problem. I think Woody made a change for the sake of making a change and hoping to create a spark, but I don't think this was on Saleh. Was there some accountability issue? Sure. Should he have pulled Hackett earlier? Yeah, if he was able to. The sources I've heard said he wasn't allowed to. Wasn't able to make that decision. That's on Woody. This fish stinks from the top down. Bud Jets fan PA says, our biggest issue is Woody Johnson. Completely agree. Eddie says, Gruden is head coach, Rex is defensive coordinator. Could you imagine getting Chucky in here as our head coach? I thought him and the league were like done. I don't know if he's allowed to like coach again. Uncle Larry says, I like Vrabel. Vrabel's the coach I would prefer. If you had to go with a already existing head coach that's smart, that I think you can win the intellectual side of the game from, Vrabel's the guy. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to choose the Jets. That's who I would prefer as a head coach. Offensive-minded young guy that's having wild success with solid players. Vrabel, I think, does make a lot of sense, though. Or he says, why was Vrabel fired? He was a good coach in Tennessee. What happened? I don't really know. I don't know if they were, just agitated with one another, or if he just kind of ran his course. Like, there's coaches that we've had that are like, man, that was, a halfway decent coach, but, the message was just stale. It's kind of what happened with Philadelphia and Andy Reid. They kind of just got to this stale point. They're like, look, we know you're a good head coach. We just got to make a change. Sometimes that messaging happens. Maybe the Jets are the beneficiary of that. Big JT says, it's hard to justify being a fan of such a perennial shit show. This team has aged me horribly. I wish Johnson Bros would sell the team to a serious owner and do a hard reset on the entire thing. This franchise is brutal. It is a statistical anomaly that we are as bad as we are for as long as we have been bad for. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't happen like that. Like, you should be able to make the playoffs once in 15 years or once in 14 years, whatever our current streak is at this point. Lawrence, I feel like they ran away from blitzing as soon as Pickens got one lucky catch. They stopped blitzing. I'll be honest, I'd have to go back and watch. I was so frustrated. I just saw red and didn't pay attention as much anymore. Yeah, look, Pickens had that one catch that was just outrageous. Chris is Sussex County guy. What up, Chris? Michael F., what's your intro song? Honestly, I don't know. I have to look at it. I'd have to look at the thing. I had my buddy make me the intro. PG says, Ben Johnson would be great if he was Dan Campbell. I wonder if Ron Rivera would be interested alternative to Vrabel. If I wanted an alternative to Vrabel, Ron Rivera is an interesting one. I really wouldn't have thought him, but he's more of a defensive guy. Maybe a Brian Flores. Maybe he brings a little bit of heat from a defensive perspective. I think he deserves another opportunity as a head coach, and going against his former team in the both the Patriots and the Dolphins might be appealing to him. I would prefer to go with an offensive-minded head coach, though. So I don't know if those are the guys that I'm necessarily lining up for first. Sodak says, be honest, if we can't get Vrabel or Johnson, would you bring back Rex Ryan? I don't want Rex Ryan back. I love what he did for those 5 years, or however many years he was here for, but I think he absolutely imploded an incredibly talented Bills team the year he went over. So I think I'm fine keeping that as just a hope. A hope. Not a hope, but just like a good memory. Jimmy says, have you checked up on Green Bean, Ryan? Poor talking Jets crew. Yeah, me, Matt, and Bean were talking today. We were talking today. This sucks. Lewis B says, with an easier schedule than most, the Jets do have a chance, but do we really believe that they will win the games they should? My Jets fandom throughout the years tell me no. Yeah, I don't have any faith, based on everything I've seen the Jets do through 7 weeks of the season, that they're going to be able to win 8 of 10 games. I just don't see it happening. Radimus says, not all on Sal, but he was a major part of the problem. Dude got out-coached like crazy. Yeah, look, coaching in general was a very big problem for us. Offensive play calling was an issue. Salah not being able to get the most out of both sides of the ball consistently was a problem. Defense was good, but I think the defense would have taken a step back this year regardless with the devastation of our defensive line. My biggest criticism of Joe Douglas is the lack of defensive line retention, and I think some of this was taken for granted, hoping that Robert Saleh and Old Brick would be able to make lemonade. out of the lemons we have, even if they're, maybe like soggy lemons or old dried up lemons, be enough juice there. That's what it feels like. Mike D says, I don't like trading draft picks for 1-year rentals. For Devontae, I'm fine with. I think that was an all right trade. It just should have happened sooner. Just would have happened sooner. Steven asking if we're going to do call-ins tonight. We can do call-ins. Ooh, JD. Ryan, what about Monken from the Ravens? I really liked Todd Monken when he was with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I really liked him as the, was he OC at Georgia or was he the head coach? I think he was the OC at Georgia. And I really like him with the Ravens. I would be all on board with Todd Monken. I would be on board with his offense. Good call. All right. Let's do a half hour of phone calls. Live call-in number is going to be in the comments section. Feel free to reach out. I've got Sonny from Long Island and then Steven on the line. Sonny, if you can hear me, I see your head. Are you good to go? Give me a thumbs up if you are ready to go. We're going to do 2-minute calls here so we can get through everyone. And I believe Sonny is good to go. So, Sonny, how you doing, dude?
Hey, Ryan. How are you, man?
Dude, I am distraught. This season is not going the way I thought it was.
Yeah, this is, a letdown, to say the least. I never would have imagined they'd be 2-5. I actually thought that we would struggle early on and then, began to get it right by this time in the season. But I don't even know where to start with this team, Ryan. That defense is a shell of itself. This is not the same defense we've watched play for the last 2 seasons. This is something far different. There is no pass rush; it doesn't exist. They leave teams opposing number 1 wide receivers wide open. I mean, can't you just try it once to put sauce on the other team's number 1 guy? I get
just
it.
man up.
Not a lot of teams do that. Try it once. I mean, it can't hurt. It can't get any worse. A lot of guys are blaming Rodgers at this point. I'm not even ready to go there yet. I think he's played well enough in every game except the Vikings game to win. I get it. He had 2 interceptions, but it was really one of them that was his fault. He had that terrible pick throwing in to triple coverage or something like that.
Just before the half.
Yeah. I mean, in an all-in year, to have it explode like this in your face, I mean, I watch all the shows, I listen to all the media, and we're already thinking about next year. I'm like, there's that next year talk.
We're not even in November.
Right? Like Green
we got
Bean
Aaron
was
Rodgers so that way we'd be competitive after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Green Bean was talking about getting Ben Johnson as coach and cutting Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here?
It's too early. I just don't want it. I don't want it. Sonny, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we got our boy Steven on the line. Steven, how you doing, dude?
Hey, man.
Fuck this team.
How you been?
I know you're a Packers fan, and you believe in Aaron Rodgers, and you believe in Devontae, but we going 8-2. Is that happening? Are the Jets going to be able to turn this around and make the playoffs?
I'm praying for your sake.
Okay. I'm glad it's not an overly optimistic answer. It's not about it right now.
No. I really think, all jokes aside, I think they actually can. It's going to be a stretch because they would have to go 8-2. So they would finish, 10-7?
Yeah, 10-7 would be 8 wins right now.
Yeah, no, they can do it, but they're really going to have to actually win every single game. The defense is going to have to step up. And the offensive line play is going to have to get better. The running game is going to have to get better. Basically, everything's going to have to get better.
It kills me because it feels like they're not that far off. It's little things, and they're finding new ways to lose each week. And Rodgers said it. It's we're not doing the little things right, which is true. But you also shouldn't be throwing into triple coverage at halftime and across the middle of the field when Devontae Adams is wide the fuck open.
So he does the exact same thing. So
I don't
it's
know.
frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. I watched that game and I was like, I couldn't. Like, it was 15-13, and I'm like, wait, y'all didn't score a single point in the second half? Like, huh?
31 points unanswered.
Dude, I played the Jets defense in fantasy. Biggest mistake ever.
Yes. Yes, so did I. I did that multiple times. We have a league too where it's like based on point differential, and we would have gotten like I think 4th place in this last week's set of things if the Jets just hadn't had the point differential of minus fucking 22 points or whatever.
Yeah. No, I get
Stupid.
it. Personally, I also think, it's a joke, but honestly, you should literally be the Jet GM because,
Do you think before I eject you, you think Rodgers coming back next year?
Oh, 100%. Especially because of the lost season he had last year, he's definitely coming back.
All right. Interesting. Steven, you've been ejected.
You're out of here!
From the cockpit. We got Mr. Edward Ziff coming in. Edward, how you doing, dude? Long time no talk.
Been a while, buddy.
Dude, how are you feeling right now about our damn Jets? Yes, perfect. You don't have to say anything else. That's exactly how I'm feeling.
It's
This shit
just
sucks.
I will tell you something. I equate the New York Jets to a restaurant where they have the finest Kobe beef and the finest, freshest, amazing organic vegetables, and they don't have a chef worth of shit to put the shit together and make it. The sous chef sucks. The salad chef sucks. The head chef sucks.
The
So
owner
they
can't hire
they're
anyone
wasting
correctly.
the talent of these guys. No, the owners get. I mean, and Joe Douglas, you got to give him some credit for the guys that he's assembled, but you also have to give him some criticism for getting rid of JFM and those other guys. This is not the same
Absolutely.
team as last year on defense. All right, he thought he was going to be cute with Reddick. He thought he was going to get cutesy here, and he blew it. I mean, there's no other way to say it. He blew it. But, and Rodgers, to be honest, I'm watching the games, and Rodgers is looking like an average quarterback. He's missing wide open receivers. I'm sorry. I don't. I know 30 seconds here. We go.
That's all right.
I know that. It looks like he's really screwing up. Is it the guys running the wrong routes? I highly doubt that. I mean, he had the whole last season off season with these guys, and he had all off season this year. I think he's just missing throws. I think he's getting a little bit of happy feet because the O-line is just too porous. And Keith Carter, how can you get a guy that actually turns an all-pro tackle into a turnstile? It's got to be the coaching. It absolutely has to be. There's no other way to explain it. How everyone that comes to the Jets turns to absolute shit. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just part of what it means being a Jet fan, Ed. It's part of our life, part of our existence. To answer some of his questions there, or answer some of his comments, I think Joe Douglas absolutely deserves blame. And I have no problem if people want him gone. No problem at all. The defensive line, do I think he got cute with Reddick? No, not necessarily. I think they took a calculated risk, and I don't think they thought that Reddick would self-sacrifice and hurt himself in order to try and get a contract. Like that because he's not getting any more money on this reworked contract that they figured out. So, I don't blame Douglas for the Reddick swing. I do blame Reddick for JFM not being here and for not figuring out the fucking text message or phone call or fax or whatever it was that allowed Quentin Jefferson to go to the Browns when the Jets wanted to retain him. That was just stupid. The Jets' defensive line is not what they were. We cannot rush for and get home to the quarterback, and that has been a consistent problem. Will McDonald is literally the only player that can get some pressure, and he's not even getting it consistently. He's able to get it, at a higher clip than anyone else. He's got 8 sacks on the season. Great, awesome, but just not the D-line we were sold. Obviously, the injuries in the secondary, you can't really control that, but outside of that, I don't even know if Douglas wants to be back. It feels like Woody's overstepping constantly, and it just feels like it's a Woody Johnson right on down the list as far as what the problem is. But I don't know. I don't know the right answer here. It's pissing me off. Let's go over to Jake. I want to hear what Jake has to say. He always gives us some fun insight here. How you feeling?
Good evening, Ryan. How you doing?
This shit sucks. I'm done with this damn team. What are your thoughts?
Well, let's just be clear. The season was over on Monday, not yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think anybody that went to this game thinking that somehow they were going to rejuvenate this whole team, I think are kidding themselves. Because you were already, 2.5 games out of the division. Let's just face it.
You were squarely in it for the wild card, though. That's the thing. Like, even if you weren't going to get the division.
This team is not well. Honestly, I think a wild card was a failure to me personally. I really believe that. I was not in this to be wild card. I was not in this to be a wild card team.
No,
a wild card team no. It's just this team with this high expectations and everything that was for them. It was division or bust. And to me, the way the division is going this year, you guys, Jet fans, you're not going to ever have a great opportunity like this ever again. I'm sorry to say this. Like, I'm not saying like Josh Allen's Tom Brady, but like this was your one shot to win a very vulnerable division because much as I think the Dolphins are going down the tank, the Patriots are struggling. I mean, in what situation do you see they're just going to go out and win the division again? Like when?
I mean, I don't think division happens this year. I think if Rodgers comes back next year, I don't know how you can argue he's going to be better unless you get like new coaching and new offensive scheme and like everything gets reset. Like, I just don't know. I feel like we're stuck in this for the next 2 years.
What coach is coming here?
That's exactly my point. Like, I don't think we're getting a Ben Johnson.
Let's have the well. Let's you know what? Listen. I want Ben Johnson here, and I think Woody Johnson should do it. But at the end of the day, let's go through the list. How we've had 9 coaches, 10 coaches in the last 20-something years.
Probably. This is what
Okay,
it feels
so
like.
You're averaging 3 years. Who the hell's taking that job? Nobody. No one's taking that job. You're taking it with a quarterback that's aging, who doesn't know if he actually has any control because the quarterback will get in the way. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to start saying it. Rodgers is causing part of the problem here. He's causing part of the problem. The defense, the run defense is, let's just say it's appalling. It is appalling. It was slightly better yesterday. Slightly better, if that's even saying much. Which, by the way, like Quinn Williams, where the hell's he been all year? I haven't heard his name being mentioned once this entire year. He's been non-existent.
Jermaine going down has been critically bad for this defensive line. Like any shot at Quinnen getting freed up on, one-on-one opportunities died with Jermaine Johnson going down. Maybe we see something spark with Reddick coming back, but like that, too late. Sorry.
He's collecting checks, man. Okay, I'm sorry. Like I don't. If Reddick really cared about any of this, he would have signed a 1-year extension and been done. That's why I think all the reports about Drew Rosenhaus, I think that's his agent saying right now about, we want a long-term extension. It's like, so you mean like the 1-year extension that we wanted to do literally in freaking March? Like, is that what we're talking about right now? Because if he's telling me he's getting a 2-3 year deal, so then what's that money going to be? So it's like, are they putting more ideas in his head? I don't know. It's just it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. And now,
I think the whole Reddick thing came down to this guy's a fucking moron, and his new agency said, "Hey, look, let us go search for a trade so we can prove that he's a moron and he's not going to get the money that he wants. So he has to report. And if you guys will forgive the fines, we can get him to report." And I think that's what went on between the Jets and his representation. And I just don't know how his previous representation couldn't have at least done that, or the Jets didn't approach them as saying like, "Hey, go look for a trade. If you could find this contract somewhere else, we'll trade you." But the whole point is no one's going to pay you. So you got to play for us if you want to get the money. That's what should have been done. And that's where the GM just didn't do it. Do you think Douglas is here next year? Because to your point, who's going to want this job? Like across the board, are we just in it for like a shit GM and a shit head coach next year because we're in a bad spot? Like, are we going to get our version of the Texans pre DeMeco Ryans for a year or two, where they just have to reset the salary cap and you just have to sit here and wait and make it look good for the next coach?
Well, let's say this. I mean, if you're saying we might become like the D'Amico Ryan, I mean, who's our CJ Stroud?
No,
Who's
what I'm
that?
saying is after Watson was traded, there was a very clear like year or two. I forget the head coach's name that was there.
Cole, the David Culley thing, whatever that
Yeah,
was.
like do you think we get a Band-Aid between our next D'Amico Ryans or our next head coach? Like I feel like we almost need an Adam Gase type reset to like, all right, we just got to get all the pieces in the right spot so we can attract the next up and coming head coach. That's what it feels like.
I will not watch. I will not watch that at all. Like I swear to you, dude. Like this year is getting to the point where I don't know if I can tolerate this anymore. I really don't know how much more of this I can take. It's
Dude,
just
I put in a lot of fucking time. All of us do. All of us sitting here watching all these damn videos and watching it, going to the games, watching all the highlights and stuff, or lowlights, whatever you want to call it, and then talking football the entire week. Like, dude, I got 2 young kids. I got plenty of other things I could be doing than watching this sorry excuse for a team week in and week out.
they need to flex them out of prime time. And I know we're stuck with the second Thursday night because, by the way, I don't know anybody who can actually say that it's fun to have a second Thursday night game. It is the worst form of punishment you can ever ask if you're an NFL team. It is literally asking if you want Aaron Rodgers to look hurt now, imagine how much hurt he's going to look like after another Thursday night game. It's
idiotic. There's no reason they can't have 2 bye weeks and just have Thursday night games after a bye. Give them a week and a half off before you go into a Thursday night game. There's no reason to be resting your body for 4 days. It's absolutely insane. Jake, I'm going to get some more calls. I appreciate it. You're out of here. A little more optimism this week from Jake. Usually Jake's a little bit more of a downer. Oh, we got a fun one coming up. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Hey, man. Yeah, I agree. Team sucks. Everything's doom and gloom. We need to all just give up, right? Like, we all know we're going to watch this team. We're all going to tune into the clown show. So everyone put your red horn, noses on, and let's get ready. This is Atlas. Atlas is a really good dog, but here's the problem on Sundays. Atlas is a therapy dog. He can't do his fucking job because he doesn't know why I'm stressed out because Woody Johnson hates the fucking Jets. He hates animals. He hates my dog. So I'm done going after Joe Douglas and the rest of his team. Cancel Woody Johnson for animal abuse. He doesn't know he's a good dog because he can't do his job because the Jets suck and I start yelling. This poor dog. And I don't care about your guys' headphones. I hope you're all like, God damn it. I have to do something to change it up because clearly complaining is not working. We can't hurt his pockets. He's a billionaire. So now I'm going to go out and go get PETA and we're going to cancel this mofo because I'm so sick of this. I do want to say that the season's not over, guys. We're the New York Jets. We're going to win the next 6 games and then lose to some terrible team like the Cardinals to throw it all away because that's what they do. So expect us to be in it by week 17. Because we just do that. We are the Jets. We're not supposed to win games. Now we're going to win games. And then when it's like, oh, my God, they have a chance to make the playoffs to a concussion that, Tagovailoa is going to go in and just throw for 500 yards at end of season. But I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to go after –
We'll have a shot in the final game. They'll be like, the Jets fought all the way back, and then they crush your fucking heart, and the Dolphins find a way to beat the Jets in sub-32-degree weather.
I got the script. That's what's going to happen. I know this team by soul. And they're going to do this shit. They're going to start going on a run. Rodgers is going to be like, yeah, it's the ayahuasca. We're moving it, guys. Look at this. And then it's just that you just feel it. It's in your bones that this is how this is going to go. That they're going to turn around, and then all of a sudden the Jets are legit again. And then, bam, it's just going to come down on us.
Right through the heart. Mike. God, I love when Mike calls in. Honestly, just so much fire and passion. That was a fun call. Twix Blocks says, Jets are buns, end of story. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. That's us. Oh, God, this team gives me heartburn, indigestion. Give the doggy some sauce treats. Yeah, this is a good dog. Alice is a good dog. Shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. Rodgers will flip this team around. Eddie, from your lips to God's ears. Adirondack Fly Guy. Dude just pounded 2 Red Bulls. At least he's got some energy. We need the rest of his fucking team pounding 2 Red Bulls. That's what's got to happen. I'm done with this lack of enthusiasm crap. Radimus. Passion. Oh, God. You tell him, bro. Oh, God, Mike. You always get us laughing. His dog just jumped through the window. Oh, God. Blame Peyton Manning for Gase. Yeah, I do. I do. Joe S., assure you, John Gruden has seen the cartoons that HR and GovC require us to watch. He's known the boundary line. I don't think I understand what that means. That's all right. Joe S. says, I want a 1 o'clock game. Yeah, I would imagine they'll flex us out of primetime games pretty soon. This is, we just have a lot of star power. That's the thing. Like, people are going to watch just because of that. DeWedge says, it's like being hooked on a TV show. Pawn Stars, Gene Simmons, and Sharon Tweed. The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Ozzy Osbourne and Company. Star Trek, Search of Go Jots. Look at the bright side. Yankees are in the World Series. Yeah, look, glass half full, right? I'm sure we probably have more Mets fans in here than Yankees fans. So I would imagine Mets fans, you're feeling a little bit of a double whammy action as of today. One, losing out on the opportunity to get into the World Series, and two, our Jets just losing out on doing anything nice for us. PG, Aaron should never have gone on McAfee. That ruined his team leadership. I don't think McAfee's doing it. I think, wow, that was a catch. That's a great catch. Sorry. Wow. I can't believe you caught that. Great catch. Paulie says Woody should pay Ray Lewis to come in and yell at the team for an hour. Yeah, we need a whole lot of help. A whole lot of help. Get a whole bunch more people to yell at us. Jay Dawson, no more primetime. Yeah, I wish we didn't have the Thursday night game either. Oldbrick is making Sal look like Bill Parcells. Nah, look, I have a hard time putting much blame on Oldbrick. It felt very much like the players did not execute last night, more than it was on a coaching issue. If you don't have Rodgers throw that pick at the end of the half and Garrett just catches the ball, this team is totally different. That you're probably arguing for like a 14-point differential swing, not to mention the momentum doesn't shift in favor of the Steelers. Cuddy says, Aaron looks different. Defense looks like Swiss cheese. Yeah, look, the defensive line is hurt. JFM, really, wow, bad snap. God, Lamar Jackson is so good, and he's just going to, and he threw it out of bounds. Did he? Oh, there you get the intentional grounding. Interesting. Nice attempt there. Yeah, look, this defense is very frustrating. That's the biggest indictment on Joe Douglas, I think. And maybe they just thought that Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich were going to be able to make magic out of undrafted free agents and random players because that's what they were doing the last 3 years. Magic ran out. Magic ran out. Kevin says, hot take, Breece Hall is not a good running back. Breece Hall is a good running back. I'm sorry. If you want to say that there's a different back that should be taking the ball based on our blocking scheme, like if you want to say, hey, Allen should get more of the running opportunities, I think I can understand that. I think Breece getting the ball out in space is the better route. I'd rather use him as a weapon, as a receiver, as a guy that can, 3rd and 26, and they just got into field goal range. The Ravens did. Give me Todd Monken. Give me Lamar Jackson, too. I want both of them. I don't know. Are we certain we can beat the Patriots? Look, I'll be honest. I am not certain of anything right now. I am not confident in this Jets team whatsoever. Any game that you feel like should be a win for the New York Jets is definitely not a lock to be a win. We can lose any game. MU, I think Aaron Netflix documentary releasing in December has a chance to be one of the uglier moments in franchise history, depending on where you're at that point. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that documentary coming out. Not that I think there's going to be a whole heck of a lot about the Jets. Like, I think a lot of it's going to... I wonder if it's... Do they say what it's about? Is it about him leaving the Packers, or is it about his time since coming into the league, and that's the documentary, and it leads up to, like, where we currently are and the return of the Achilles and everything? I'm not overly optimistic about it. Florida Jet fan, Mets fan here. So much pain last night. Yep. Jets locker room needs a pep talk from King Lowski. We do. We absolutely do. If you were the GM, what would you do this offseason if the season keeps going like this? I think if I was the GM, I would have to know what's going on with Rodgers. If Rodgers says he's coming back, then I'm not making any major trades and I'm trying to run it back. If Rodgers says he's done, then I would strongly consider trying to hit the reset button and pushing assets around to get as many draft picks as possible. I hope Rodgers comes back, because I do think that this Jets, the only way we have any opportunity to do anything next year is if Rodgers is here. I don't think another quarterback coming in is going to do what Rodgers is possibly able to do. What's the score prediction for the Patriots game? God, I hope we win. That's what it is. Pharisees says, Ryan, it feels like the sky is falling. I wasn't prepared for this for the first time. Yeah, I thought this would be a conversation we'd have to have after Thanksgiving break, not before the end of October. Like, our season may be done right now, but it may officially be done before November. Like, we lose to the Texans and we find a way to lose to the Patriots. Like, yeah, season's bye-bye. I already think it's bye-bye. 63% of you say the season's over as well. Stefan, is it even worth talking about anymore? Really? Just like a bag of burnt popcorn, throw it away and get a new one. Look, if I wasn't Jets Talk 24/7, I don't know how enthusiastic I'd be about the Jets right now. I'll be honest. I'd be sitting watching every game, but it doesn't mean I'd be optimistic. Subject to insanity, thank you for the $2 super chat. Drop your comment in the chat there. I see it wasn't attached. Appreciate the $2 donation. Joe S., you're talking about bringing back a 42-year-old quarterback, have to blow it up. Look, I'm fine with blowing it up. If he doesn't want to come back, that's fine. If he wants to come back, he's coming back. Woody Johnson is going to do whatever it takes to get to get Aaron Rodgers back, because that's his cash cow. He's able to sell hope because of Aaron Rodgers. He'll be 41 years old in December. He's not going to get more mobile. Look, I don't know. I don't know the right answer, because this isn't necessarily a great class to need to go get a quarterback. Not to mention, we're going to win too many games with the roster we have to be within like a top 10 pick. I think. I hope. Wild Wave. Bro, I'm not listening to what Rodgers has to say. I'm hitting the reset button regardless. I'm maximizing the value. So if you're not listening to what Rodgers has to say, what's the game plan? Because his contract does kind of dictate what we do. If he says, I'm coming back, or I'm going to retire before June 1st, then the Jets are kind of screwed. Like, all that cap money hits. Like, you're going to need him to sort of make his decision. That's sort of what you signed up for. Yeah, look, I don't know. J-Mo says, too bad there's still 10 games to suffer through. Dude, like, the fact that this season isn't almost over with us having these conversations is honestly insane. There's no way with a Rodgers-led team did I think we would be having these conversations October 21st. No shot. Boys and girls, it's an incredibly frustrating time to be a Jet fan right now. You want to make it a little bit better, maybe win a little bit of money? Get a 150% bonus match on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150 over at BetUS. They have current futures on the AFC East. Bills seem to be heavy favorites at minus 750, but look at our Jets fucking plus 900. you could throw some money on it. I'm not going to tell you to do it. But if you do, use code YouTube150. It helps support the sponsors of the show. Boys and girls, I'm going to be back here next, tomorrow. Be back here tomorrow. 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock with Green Bean and O'Leary. We're going to be talking some Jets and commiserating. Misery loves company. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hit that like button on the way out. See if we can get this over 100 likes before the end of the outro. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.